Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Prague.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show.
Hi, Kellee.
Hi, James. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did actually. I have a friend that's staying. My friend Peter Redgrove, who was on the show. He was here. He's staying here, which is nice. And what else? I'm designing some other areas of my garden, and planted begonias. And what else?
Ooh,
That's it. I think, and this relaxing. Yeah.
that's a lovely, lovely
And how was your
weekend.
weekend?
It was lovely. I had a lovely Mother's Day. I'll tell you what I did.
Happy Mother's Day.
It was wonderful. Well, Saturday, actually, I should say, I spoke to a bereavement group for parents who have lost children. So I want to
Right.
say big shout out to warrior parents out there. You guys
Right.
were phenomenal. And, it's such an honor to speak with them.
Yeah. Right.
And I watched a Michael McDonald concert.
Very
So
good.
fun on Zoom. So fun.
Right.
And I watched a Dionne Warwick.
Yes, I heard that was on. A lot of my friends are watching it.
So
And
fun.
I had one question to ask you.
Okay.
Does she know the way to San Jose?
And she can still sing. That gal can
She said
still
that's her
sing.
number one requested song is that song. It's her number one
Yes.
requested song.
Yeah. Oh, she played it and it was great. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
She's great. She's classic. I mean, she's just classic.
Classic. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And
Well-
in real life, she's kind of a dame. She's kind of a dame, a
Yeah.
bawdy kind of dame, and fun lady. A friend of mine knows her very well. And they have a good. She's lately gotten very big with because of the Tonight Show and the ugly sweater Christmas situation. They were playing back and forth with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
So she
wow.
people they tweeted all about her, and she tweeted back, and yeah, she's resurgence in her career for the younger demographic.
I'm thrilled because I've
Yeah,
always
was
been a
great.
fan of hers. So I'm thrilled.
Right. And tonight we have a really great topic, one that I know that my work and your work, but with therapy and psychic work, it's a topic which comes up all the time for everyone living life,
Yes.
which is psychic vampires. And we all have them around us or know people that have affected us in situations. And I mean, we could tell stories forever, but it's
Yes.
those people who you were with or situations where you're at. And I don't know, Kellee, within 10 minutes, you feel like, I think it's like a balloon that's deflated. And you
Yes.
feel energetically dropping. And
Yeah.
all the time. And I remember, I was trying to think of last time I've had those experiences. And it really was during Ghost Whisperer when I was up there in Universal Studios and had to go to that every day. I had to go to the set, and that set was fine. But I found that it was the creative meetings with the writers table, and the producers. And afterwards, and you think I felt enthusiastic about stuff, but I felt so deflated afterwards, like down. And I realized they're just pulling my energy. These people just pulling me, and no awareness of spiritual work at all. And they're writing this TV show, and I'm trying to help them figure out the stuff. And that's why I would feel drained afterwards. They back to my office and had to replenish because
Wow. Were they negative or were they bombarding you with that? I mean,
egomaniacs.
egomaniac. Yeah. That's so a narcissist. That would make a lot of sense.
Narcissists, egomaniac. And then you have that energy of the lot, which most lots filled with energy. People it's just desperation. I want to be a star and money. So on top of that, so that was last time. But, a lot of people have people in their lives who are energy vampires, and some people they don't realize it, but they're there. So
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So a psychic energy vampire, for somebody who doesn't know what they drain your emotional energy, which is what James was saying. Often they're unconscious about what they're doing. Sometimes
That's
they're
right.
very aware of it. Sometimes they're not aware of it. They will feed on your willingness to listen.
Kellee, let me ask you for 1 second, because the term energy vampire, but that comes from when we think of that, we have life force within us, life force.
Yes.
And what they do is this, they're taking that life force very much like a vampire would take the blood and suck it out, right? Same thing here energetically, they will suck out the vital force is what they're doing. And unconsciously, exactly right.
And so many things I'm going to say about this, but if you hook your arms up to them and hook them in with blood, so they're sucking your blood, it will never be enough. Just know that, everybody, it will never be enough. You cannot give these people enough. But I want all empaths out there, which is most of our audience. I want you guys to pay a lot of attention to this, empaths, because you guys are the ones that get sucked in very easily. I mean, James and I have learned through, trial and error and through running and through being exhausted and drained to stay away from them. But we really want to talk to other people and teach you guys how not to, how to pull away. But and they're going to leave you exhausted and overwhelmed. So
and they leave you dizzy. Sometimes they'll leave you feel very dizzy, exhausted, tired, dizzy, not able to speak.
Well,
you feel like you're not your person. You feel like you're somewhere else.
Well, interesting that you said that, because there's so many different types of vampires that do this. But it's so interesting, James, because all of a sudden you might be with one. All of a sudden you're in a terrible mood. Something happens and now all of a sudden you're in a bad mood.
Totally.
You might be physically ill. Okay. You might feel nauseous. Here's another big one, everybody, right?
I've had that one. Yeah.
You may feel like you want to binge on sugar and carbs. How interesting is that?
That's really interesting.
Because you want to calm yourself. You're trying to think of a way to calm yourself or to refeed yourself from something. So it's going to put you in a state of doing something probably not good for your body. And the other thing is, you may get really anxious. Why am I so anxious now? Why I've just been with this person. Why am I so anxious? You may get really angry. You may want to start drinking alcohol. You may want to smoke pot.
Alcohol.
Right. You may smoke pot. You may do anything to calm yourself down. Yeah. You also may feel ashamed afterwards for some reason. Some people really get very quiet and they feel shame, like like they know they've been taken advantage of, but they don't have the words for it. They don't have the words to explain what has just happened. But I'm going to tell you this, if it's a continual, if you stay with these people, it's a continual drain on your resources, and it is going to lead to some heart disease, depression, anxiety, stress. I mean, this is why you really have to work hard in your life to remove these people from your life, and you have to also learn to pay attention to, if you start to feel what we're going to talk about, you're probably around a psychic vampire. So there's different types. So let's start with what you had just said earlier, James, in Hollywood, the narcissist. And they don't have to be in Hollywood, but Hollywood does have a lot of them. And the narcissist, you have to understand, they have a lack of empathy. They're not thinking about how you're feeling at all. As a matter of fact, they have a self-importance kind of a take on life. And the thing, they believe that they're special. Nobody else is special, so they're not even thinking about you. And they also require constant admiration. So you may be feeding them, and the next thing you know, they're with another partner getting fed, and another partner getting fed, and each one person that is exhausted after they leave. And again, they lack empathy. Often they're very envious of other people too. So these are kind of things to look out for, I should say. Another type of psychic vampire, and this is really the worst type, are the borderlines. So borderline personality, it describes a person who has an inner sense of perfection. An inner sense, they actually feel empty inside, but their inner life is, well, they're fine, but the outside experience is such conflict. They're the ones that are doing some really crazy behavior, but inside they think that they're normal, okay? And it gets, they have no reality, and they will rewrite history. So when you think about somebody like this, they are the parents or the spouses or the children, and they will suck the life out of you. And you can ask any divorce lawyer about them. They're awful. And if you have one as a parent, it's a extremely difficult one, and you will be completely drained. And having to set boundaries with them, that's a tough one.
Kellee, what percentage-wise, for my parents or family members, are there borderline personality disorder people in there? Quite.
I'm gonna say, I mean, as far as the psychic, 50% at least. For psychic vampires?
Well, borderline personality disorder, borderline personality disorder.
You mean how many in the world?
Well, like one in a family, let's say.
Probably That's a good question, James. I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to.
Because there are also levels of, right, degrees of borderline
Yeah, there are degrees. I mean,
and
some are.
degrees of like vampirism.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly, exactly. But good question. That one I don't know though. Another type of psychic vampire are the victims, the poor me. They're the ones. The world is against them. And again, watch it, you empaths, because you're like, you want to go help them. You want to go, oh,
Yeah,
it's going to be okay. I'll listen to you. And then you're going to realize as an empath, oh my God, what did I step into? I stepped into a quicksand here.
it's
Because
true.
no matter what, the poor me victims, it's never going to be enough. Never. And you could give them solutions. How many times, James, have we done this one? Offering them solutions, telling them what to do. Forget
I'm
about
like,
it.
I can't anymore.
Oh,
It's
oh,
tiring
it's exhausting. You can't do it anymore.
because they
Then
like to be victims. They're professional
they're
victims.
professional victims. And it really, I can't tell you how many times I've said, well, you need to be in therapy. But, well,
Yes,
it doesn't matter. Another type are the ones that energy vampires often are very charismatic. And
yes.
so they're crafty, so they don't take any responsibility. So you might be thinking, here you've done so much for them and you've done so much. They don't care. They're not going to take any responsibility or any accountability of any kind.
And the important thing to remember, everybody, is you're usually, they're not conscious of doing this. This type of behavior, they're
Yeah.
not conscious that they're doing this to you. But
Yeah.
you, as an empath, sensitive person, have to be ultra aware. Even when you're in everyday life, when you walk into a room or you're out in the store and you're around people around you, just check in with your own energy fields, your own sense of surrounding. You make sure that you're okay, because they're around. And even if they're not directing it toward you, I find when you're in that energy space, it could suck you right out.
Oh, you,
I mean, I was at a store to get the butcher, getting some meat there, and there was a couple ladies there, and it was just like, and the poor guy behind the counter, he was just like, oh, and I'm like, oh, geez, I can't go near that. And I was like seeing the energy being sucked out of this guy, and never enough, never enough,
it's
never
never
enough.
going to be enough. It's never going to be enough.
Question after question. I interrupted. Are you done yet? I say, are you done yet?
Oh, yeah.
It looks a bit like us from Mars. Are you done yet? You're interrupting us.
Oh, my God. Um, they're always involved in some kind of drama, and they're going to suck you into their drama.
I wrote down drama freaks and control freaks.
Oh, drama freaks,
Drama
control
queens
freaks.
and
Oh,
control freaks and victims. Yes.
okay. And they're the ones that are going to text you 100 times. You didn't call. You didn't text me back. You didn't text me back. And it'll be a constant text war.
Our good friend in Chicago. Remember that one?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Yes, I do. He or she who shall not be named.
Yes.
They are always trying to be one up on you. Isn't that interesting? They're
That
always
is
trying to be
interesting.
one up on you.
That is
They
interesting.
they don't want a psychic vampire doesn't want to be outdone. They can't be outdone. So
That's kind of their way of saying that, but that's just the way they are. Yeah.
yeah. Yes. Here's another one. Oh my God. They will diminish your problems and they're gonna play up their own.
It's true. Very true, Kelly.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You could be dying of cancer. So what? I had this today. I mean, it's unbelievable. So here's another one. Energy vampires place their problems squarely on the shoulders of other people. They
100%.
see you coming and here's my problem. Here's my problem. Fix it. Take care of it. Do it. I don't know about you, James, but I am so tired of changing diapers. I can't do it. I won't do it. Won't do it. Here's another thing. And for empaths, I really want you guys to watch this. They're going to use your good nature against you.
Very much so. It's very true. Very true. It's happened to me.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a big one. Okay, everybody. They use guilt trips.
Very
So
much.
now, do you fall for guilt? I don't. Do you fall for that one?
No way.
No way.
No.
No. I mean, that's just, or
No.
ultimatum. How about that?
55. No, that's gonna no. I don't need that. Doesn't work for me.
No. Okay, so often they are codependent. So if you're in a codependent relationship, everybody out there, you really want to look at that because that's a vicious cycle of behavior if you are in a codependent relationship. And some examples, what they do, especially in romantic circles, they will continue a cycle of drama in this romantic relationship. And people will say, well, why don't you leave that person? Why are you still there? Why wouldn't you leave? And meanwhile, you're draining everybody else with this problem of the relationship. And often you'll hear this as an example. Well, I know this isn't a good relationship, but it's so much better than trying to find another one. Or, he'll be back. He's going to beg for forgiveness. And okay, by this point, everybody is drained. We don't want to hear it. Move on, stay with them. Who cares at this point?
Yeah.
Drives you nuts, right? Oh, here's a big one for psychic vampires. They will criticize and bully,
Yeah. Very true.
you
Very
know,
true. Very true.
and they'll say
And make you
things.
the wrong one. Make you be the wrong one. They'll be
Oh,
the right.
you're the wrong one, and they'll say things horrible, like, oh, well, I should expect you're stupid. They'll use really ignorant words, and you're getting abused when you start hearing these words. Here's another thing: they intimidate. Psychic vampires will intimidate you because they want your energy.
That's right. Exactly right.
And you're going to fear is a really strong emotional reaction, and this is what happens with a psychic vampire. They put fear into you on some level, like you need to be there for them, and or you're going to be walking on eggshells. Oh no, I have to fix this, or I have to do something.
So true.
And it really does matter if you're around a psychic vampire, because they sometimes they actually target people, but it's a continuous drain on your psyche, on your energy. And you have to start to recognize the behaviors of
I,
when you start to go down.
I remember from my work in the beginning days, and for a while, where I'd have clients or people in the audience, I do demonstrations, and they would say, what else is there? Or I need to get more information from you, or giving a great message, they want even more, or one of clients, individual clients, so they still, you've given them an arm, they want a leg, they want some more, and they won't stop, and we call them psychic junkies. They go from psychic to psychic to psychic to fill that void, and it was just a lot of them were just psychic. And vampires is what they were. They just wanted more and more and more, and they wanted to be in control. They wanted to be in control.
I remember being with you, James, getting you out of a stage and running with you to get in the car.
Yeah, I've had several of those, Kellee.
Several of those. Yeah.
I had one lady come to myself, and where was it? I don't know where it was. I remember with my friend Tony Stockwell, a medium. We were doing a show, and I think it was Northern California. And we're doing a meet and greet afterwards. And I check out everybody that meet and greet way before they get to me, because I've thought very early on by a good friend of mine who's a psychiatrist what to look for with people. Yeah. And I'm very aware this woman's coming to us up. She's not right, and she's going to be pulling. So she was, and she was pulling me, and things were not good. And then I left. I said, okay, and I knew I had to stop right there. I was okay. There you go. It's your book. But I need to talk to you. I said, everyone here needs to talk to me. There are 200, 300 people. Every single person needs to speak with me. So I share myself with all these people. It's not just about you. And she didn't like that. Anyway, so it ended up, I went back to the dressing room, and then Tony came back in, and we left. And coming out, the woman was waiting at the exit. Thank God I had some security people, friends of mine around. And she said, I need to speak to you because, in 1997, you put me under hypnosis, and I'm still waiting for you to break the curse.
Oh my God! Oh, a real psychotic nut. Wow.
Yeah. And I came here from all the way on a bus trip from Florida. You have to pay for that. Like, excuse me. But and kind of like a vampire, and people that do that, it's just weird. It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, well, you really have to pay attention.
You have to be careful too. When you're in the public eye or in a position where you can help people, especially. But a lot of people here on this site are sensitives and empaths, and you are doing counseling work. A lot of people want that energy. They want to be you. They want that power. They try to get it from you, and they'll try any way they can to manipulate you. So you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Well, and that the boundaries, are everything with that. I mean, it really starts with recognizing what James and I are talking about. I mean, if you start to feel drained, pay attention, because something is going going to happen here.
I have for my class, Kellee, I did a course because of this. So the importance of this, the course, Tools for the Highly Sensitive Person, and it's my school, JP School of Mystical Arts. And these are some of the things I pulled from that today, just to talk about, because it is such an important part of the work that we do. All you sensitives out there, as you said, I'm repeating what you said, energy vampires, narcissists, drama queens, control freaks, victims, and otherwise difficult people can drain your precious energy when you're a sensitive. How do you recognize them? As you said, suddenly get in a bad mood when you see this person. It's a physical reaction. You feel dizzy, sick, or exhausted, or suddenly depressed. That's a good
Yes.
one. That'd be first.
Yep.
You notice that they only are concerned about themselves, of course. After you leave them, you feel depressed, low self-esteem, and the world is against you. How do you know for sure? Well, ask yourself, is there a pattern of this feeling with a person when you see them again? So every time you see this person or a
Yes.
family member with your family gathering, what are the patterns? Do you pick up or a sense afterwards you're
Yes.
exhausted? And again, families have psychic
Oh,
vampires. Not they mean to, but they do. And even people that maybe don't agree with what you do, the type of work that you do, they'll be the worst because they're going to try to
mhm.
control you and change you and so forth. Um, so I wrote, here's from the course again. What do you encounter with psychic energy vampire? We are full of light, and my theory is that some people don't have their own light, so they pull at yours. Get them talking about someone other than themselves. So when you encounter someone like that, push the focus away from themselves and push it into something completely different. One thing
Mhm.
you do. Remind
That's a
yourself that
good one, actually.
it's a
If
good
you
one to
if
get them
if you can
away.
do it.
If
Yeah.
you can do it. But you first, of course, have to assess the energy, what's going on here.
Right.
And again, don't get pulled into that knee-jerk reaction. If they say something emotionally to you, it gets you emotional because you're sensitive. Stop and the pause, a few deep breaths, 3 deep breaths, and reassess what's going on here. What the energy feels like with that person. Are you in control of your energy? What's going on in your energy space around you? This is where I talk about also running your energy, making sure you're running your energy, cleaning out all the chakra points. As I'm talking to you, I can do it right now. I'm running my energy.
Yep.
I bring up the earth energy, down the cosmic energy, out the heart, and down to the Mother Earth to rejuvenate all at the same time. So I'm running my energy, I'm cleaning out the energy spaces all at the same time. So you've got to be in control of your energy fields, be assessment of an assessment of your energy fields around you. And how do you feel when you meet a certain person? When you meet them, if it's a family
Yeah.
member, how do you feel when you meet them?
Mm.
Very, very important. I also have a thing I do, Kelly, which everybody could do is make a list. Make a list of a person in your life, and let's see if they're supporting you or taking away from you. So
Ah, that's a
person's
good
name
one.
could be a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a partner, a friend. Make the names and put next to that name a word that comes to you, whether it's a positive word or a negative word. What word comes up there? And then you can look for yourself and see, is that person supporting you or are they tearing you down?
Yes.
And you can be
That's a
honest with
great one.
yourself because no one can see that. Carissa Carrington is asking a question here. What if you have an energy vampire in your life who does drain you, but they're your family and you love them so much that sort of push them away, crushes your heart? Well, you can't love them to death. Um,
Oh, Carissa, I've had to deal with this one very much. I've cut them out of my life. I've brought
I've cut
them
them out of
back
my
in.
life as well.
You've cut them
Yeah,
out of your life. You brought them back in.
yeah.
But when you bring them back in, it's very much
Boundaries.
boundaried
You
like
got to love
this.
yourself enough. You got to love yourself
Yes.
enough, Carissa, not to have them take your life away
Yeah.
from you. You have to love yourself enough. And, the
Yeah.
more love you give them, it's not going to help them. So
Yeah.
don't think it will because it certainly will not.
Yeah.
When any vampire is in your space, remind yourself you're not a doormat. You are not their fix-it. You're not a doormat.
Yes. You're
Okay?
not
You
a
are not a
doormat.
doormat. No.
Mhm.
You are a door, and you can close that door and shut them out anytime you choose.
Yeah.
Now, you can have a glass door. So you can close that door. And I do this
Mhm.
in another practice I have in the class where you put yourself in a glass bubble and you can see them and you can interact with them, but energetically they can't get through. That works.
Ah,
Glass door works, glass ball works. I know another one, which is I sit inside the mirror, a 360-degree mirror I'm sitting inside. So the reflection is on the outside. I'm able to see everything going on, but any energy coming my way they're pulling just hits it and goes right back at them. Because the reflection is turned around, it reflects right back at them. So I won't hit them.
wow.
I
So that's
use that a lot.
powerful. Yeah.
I used that a lot when I was at Universal with the Ghost Whisperer, and it
Ooh,
really saved me. It
I
saved me
bet.
so much.
I
Always.
bet.
And also, you
Wow.
can also imagine when you're in this space, if you're speaking with somebody or in a meeting, when you're feeling this energy, waterfall, heaven waterfall, and any energies that are being pulled and you're rejuvenated with this waterfall from heaven, any energies that are not yours drained down to Mother Earth, be recycled, but you're being recharged and replenished from the
Right.
waterfall from heaven, the
Oh, that's a
prana,
good
the
one.
energy of life. That's a good one,
Yeah.
everybody. And I've had to in certain situations. I rarely use it, but I've had to push people away. And I push people away
Like
energetically.
physically or
I will send a bolt of lightning and they go. It's like pushing them, literally pushing them, but I do it with
so
that energy.
how do
It's
you
a
tell
bolt.
us how you do this?
Well, how I do that is, everything is in the mind. So what you do is
Yeah.
you have an energy sense. It works a lot with people that are in your space. people that will not stop speaking, that are just draining you, whatever. I will just sit there and I will not even speak. I won't even say any words. I will imagine this bolt of lightning of love, a bolt of lightning getting away, get away. And that's what they'll say, get away. Here's the getting away. And I imagine a bolt of energy coming really from my inner core. And I'm just like, it works.
Wow.
It works.
Ardelia from Australia just said, I love that, James. with a bolt of okay, I'm going to remember that one. That's a
When
good
you were a
one.
kid and you were playing a ball, I forget what the name of the ball game was. You had a big like a volleyball, and you throw the ball to somebody, and you catch it,
Yes.
and it'll push you back sometimes. It's that sort of a feeling, a sense.
Wow.
And you will see that person. They might step back. They might stop speaking. Their mood will change. They might shift or turn around. Watch it. It happens. It happens. So it's a good one. I don't use that often, but sometimes I had to. Sometimes I'll imagine a space with white light coming from down, and every single corner of that room is white light. Anything heavier, darker, denser energy is down to Mother Earth pulling it, and that room is completely filled with light. The people that are in there that are not like that or are draining will walk out of the room because they cannot take the frequency.
Wow. Wow.
So it does
Wow.
work.
Nikki Marie says, Saturday I saged my home with love and positive vibes.
Good.
Sunday I was walked out on. Today, your life shined the light on my lesson. Thank you.
Very
Okay.
good.
Great.
Very good, Nikki. Very, very good.
Great.
Control freaks try to control their environment, but they don't have to
Yep.
control you. You can't change them, but you can control how you respond to those people.
Right.
Listen, when there's no show, there's no audience. Well, there's no audience, there's no show, right?
Right.
When there's no audience, there's no show. So if you're not going to be their audience, they'll have no show.
Well, and I think what happens is people get naive. A lot of empaths are naive, and I think you think
Well,
at
they want to help
first
people. They
you
really
want to
want to help.
help them, and it makes you feel good to help somebody, and then you have to watch how often. Let's say you're, and this happens to therapists until they learn. This happens to mediums. This happens to psychics. This happens to anybody, a nurse, a doctor, until you set that boundary. It happens to everybody, a
The healing
teacher.
fields. Yeah, all that healing
Everybody,
field.
if somebody comes to you after about just a few minutes, really pay attention. Is this going to, how long am I going to be with this person? And start setting your plan of having to leave. And then eventually, quickly as you can, I always put my hand out and say, okay, I have to go now. I actually put my hand out.
Oh, I said bye-bye.
Bye
I
bye.
said
Oh,
bye.
yeah. Renee Wentz says, I took your 28-day transformation course, and that's helped me immensely.
Great.
Perfect. I put a mirror around myself in prayer
Yes.
each morning for protection. You're
Yes.
saying, let it go is my favorite saying. You taught me that, James.
Let it go. Let it go. It is what it is, and that's all that it is. Don't make it more than what it is. It's very, very true. You did that for good. I'm very proud of you because you took control of your life. You took control of your space.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. The mirror really does work really, real well. I want to say about victims, don't try to rescue them, but give them suggestions of things to try.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can do. Give them suggestions. They'll never do it, but give it again, throwing them off. Give them some things they can try. Don't take ownership of their problems. Give them advice, and they can take it or leave it. But you've given the advice. That's all you can do.
Right.
You know?
Okay, Rain Hounsell says, could astrological signs present as an energy vampire, but it's more about soul charts clashing?
That's an interesting, great question.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I think
We'll
that
tell you, for instance, let's just say there's a fire sign, right? A predominant chart, and then the water sign is with them. Water tends to put the fire out.
Yes.
Could that be something like that they're clashing in that respect?
It could be. It could be. I mean, I always look at it so much deeper. I'm not sure what else is in the chart than just the sign, the astrological sign. It's always something in there. Some people are just born this way. They come in and remember, Mavis Batilla. We love Mavis. And Mavis always said, James and I were with her in New York, and we said, what causes narcissism or sociopathy or whatever? And she said, the soul doesn't connect all the way into the body.
It's not fully integrated into the
Yes.
body. Yeah.
And so if you start to recognize it that way, then you are realizing that whoever is doing this, they're not even connected. You can't connect them. You have to literally walk away. Jody W. says, my greatest lesson as a teacher was learning how to distance myself from Oh, but
Yes.
still teach energy sucking students. Oh, Jody W. Still working on being that efficient in my personal life. You make a great statement there because in your personal life, it gets a little more challenging, doesn't it?
It's a little more challenging, but students, I think a
Yeah.
great idea, Jody, would be to give each student a positive aspect of themselves. Have them find one positive aspect, and
Oh, good.
anytime, and every one of the students should have that, and that should be their word, right? So anytime
Yeah.
you see they're sucking energy, tell them to go back to that word. What about that word about yourself? You know, what's so special about that word? Bring them back to themselves. That word that'll help because
Right.
again, focus goes back on them, not sucking out of somebody else, and they have to look for stuff inside themselves because that's
Right.
very hard. A lot of them want to go get energy from you because they don't feel it within themselves.
So true, James. I have to read this. Gretchen White, she says something really good. She says, "Are there any lessons to be learned from these vampires other than how to cut them out of our lives?" Oh, you bet.
So
When you
many.
really learn about yourself and you're learning everything about yourself through somebody else.
It's so true. And how to set boundaries, how to
Mhm,
love yourself more, how to not give away your power,
mhm.
how to have a knee-jerk reaction, how to take control of your life, how to take
Yes,
control of your life. That's
right.
really what they're teaching you.
Ardelia says, "Do these vampires sign up to be a narcissist when they come to Earth? So the soul is aware that they will be a vampire. And could the
Great
soul's
question.
lesson be to learn to overcome being a vampire?"
That's a very good question.
Great question.
Kelly, what do you think?
Well, I do think that some souls do come in as narcissists to teach us to love ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that the soul is always developing, and
Hmm.
we develop over through lifetimes. And there's
Yeah.
different aspects of the soul that's learning to do some things in different one lifetime. And I
Yeah.
think it's all a matter of just expanding and growing and learning. And they're learning these different ways about themselves and who they are and so forth. So I think it's a
Right.
matter of just progression and learning is what they're doing.
Right.
I don't think it doesn't. I'm going to be a narcissist, but there are certain aspects of that soul that might lend itself toward that behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as the soul progresses, they learn compassion and empathy and kindness and goodness. And I think, um,
It
and of
goes back to
course,
self love.
it
Once you
goes
learn
all
self
goes back
love,
to that. Um,
you know.
oh, let's see. Katie Christina McNichol. Do they eventually get evolved out of that vampire pattern? I mean, with the exception of the narcissist, of course. Some people that a narcissist and a borderline, they are it's their personality disorders, and there's no medication for that, and there's usually it takes lifetimes, I think, to get out of it. But I don't see them, I don't know, getting better in this life.
And I think also that it's not an easy answer because there's so
Yeah.
many levels of our being. But
Yeah.
I've often heard that we come back in one lifetime to evolve our mental bodies, one lifetime the emotional body, another time the
Okay.
spiritual body. So we could look at it that way too. And one lifetime you're trying to evolve to the mental processes of that
Yeah.
mental body, and you take on these behaviors, if you will, with the spirit body, so forth. That could be part of it. You see, I don't think it's a simple black and white answer. I think it's just lots of shades
Yeah.
of gray, if you will.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh gosh.
We have
Let's
a phone
see.
call, I think. We have a call here from
Oh,
a lady on the phone. Renee said, Megan?
Yes, we have Megan. Hi, Megan. You're live in the studio.
Hi, Megan. How can we help you?
Hi, yes, I'm sorry, I can barely hear you, but I've been, I listen to you all the time. I follow you all the time. I just
Great.
had a spontaneous, I say that in quotes, divorce, but I knew it was coming. I kind of feel like he was an energy vampire. I consider myself an empath. I'm kind of going through this transition, and I'm just kind of hoping for some guidance of how to now identify myself in the mess of all this energy and where to go from there.
Can you hear us speak to you now?
I can, yes.
Okay. Kelly might have a different answer than I would have, but number one, I'm going to say you're pretty strong.
I was going to
You're
say that.
strong, so I'm not worried about you at all because you're strong. You recognize you had to leave the person, that you had to go through a spontaneous divorce. Kudos to you because a lot of people would not be able to do that. So kudos. That tells you right there you have an awareness about something. You have a sense about something. So I'm not worried about you because you can do it. You can follow through. It's a transition. It's right now we're going through a major transformational time. So this is part of transformation and part of you becoming more in self-realized, if you will. to your sensitive nature. And I think it's a great thing. I think is keep on one day at a time, my love, and be excited about the new things coming to you too. We always have to look at the negative things, look at the positive things. You got some very positive things in your life. You're a very positive person. You can't be around negativity.
And what I want to add to that is that if you can stay single for a while, okay, just learn to love yourself, be with yourself for some time, because often what happens is when you leave an energy vampire, often a big problem is you jump right into another one.
True.
So pay attention
Well,
to
I've
that,
done
okay?
that for so many years.
I bet. So break
I'm
the
very
pattern now.
Break
Use
the
this
pattern,
period to
yeah.
break
into
the
that.
pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Thank
That was a
you.
great call. Thanks, honey.
Thanks so much, Megan. Okay,
Thank you
bye-bye.
both.
And we have another person named Tammy. She's an empath and how to identify if someone is an energy vampire. So do we have Tammy on the line, Renee?
Yes, Tammy is live. Tammy, go ahead.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good.
I've been married to the same guy for 27 years, been depressed my whole life, very negative, but I don't know if it's me or if it's how he is, because he's controlling mentally and physically. I have 5 boys. I just lost one, and I'm just having a really hard time. And I don't know if he is one of those, because he controls me and he says mean things to me. And
Wow.
I'm always crying.
Thank God we have a psychotherapist on the line.
Yeah, that's a really tough one, Tammy. I mean, are you able to get any free time to yourself, or does he control that as well?
Yeah, no, I don't get free time.
Okay.
Can't go anywhere, and
it's been this way for 27 years?
I don't know if I'm an empath. That's why I
Yeah.
hope he changes.
Well, one of the things, yeah, they don't change. They don't
won't
change.
change, honey.
They don't
They won't
change.
change.
I'm sorry, Tammy, they don't change. But what I can
But
suggest
it's one.
is what?
That's what I'm wondering, because I'm just wondering if he is one, because a lot of people will say when they meet him and know him for a while, say, "Oh, he is the nicest guy ever."
Well,
No,
they usually start
narcissist.
off, I mean, that's how they portray themselves. But that's a real definition of a narcissist. I mean, they, on the outside, it's how they appear, not how it actually is. Here's what I would suggest to you. I would go to traumahealing.org, traumahealing.org, okay? Because you really actually need a consultation with therapist, okay?
Definitely.
And it would really help you a lot. Because what happens with traumahealing.org is they energy is stuck in the body. So I think that you've been so traumatized that you need a therapist that understands trauma in the body and trauma. Okay, because this is you just lost a son. That's a lot of trauma.
Yes.
And why won't you leave him, Tammy? What about your thoughts about leaving him? Whatever happened with that?
I've always been low self-esteem. I've always thought I was not good enough for anybody. And I don't know. I never loved myself.
Wow.
And when my son died, I started watching you.
Wow.
And getting me through. You guys are getting me through.
Would you leave your email or information with Renee so I can write to you and send you some things? Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh gosh, James, that would be lovely.
Yes, I will.
And I'll also gift you my class. I'll gift you my tools for the highly sensitive. I'll gift you that, and also the 28-day transformation course. I'll give those to you.
I was going to ask, what class should I take? Okay,
I'm going to give both of those to you, and I want you to take them.
That'd be great, Tammy. That what a gift that is.
Thank you so much.
I want to say to everybody, tomorrow is a new moon in Taurus, and this new moon in Taurus is going to get us a lot grounded, and it's also going to be helping us speak our mind, to speak up. So, Tammy, this is the perfect time to speak your truth. Take these classes. It will only energize you. It'll be really an amazing healing thing for you to do. And then you'll start to see things clearly.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right, honey. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Bless your heart.
Kellee, I also wanted to talk to people about this is also from my my course, Tools for the Highly Sensitive, and it's just a way people can just have another way of dealing with the psychic vampires. I'm just going to read this out to people. You can take notes if you'd like. I say, sit quietly and become aware of your breath. So when you become aware of your breath, you should just breathe in 2 or 3 deep breaths, then breathe out. And the exhalation should be a little bit longer than the inhalation. Like a couple of seconds more, right? To breathe in 2 counts, out 3, in 2, out 3. And put yourself in a nice space, in 2, out 3. And then what you can do is use your imagination, use your mind, and create a room. Any room you want, just create a room. It could be a real room or an imaginary one. Either way, picture the room. Make sure you know what this room looks like. You're the designer of this room. Control the room. Now, imagine people entering the room, okay? And try to focus on how they appear energetically when they walk into that room. How do they appear energetically? Imagine one of the people saying something hurtful to you. Picture the way the words feel to you. So see the words as colors, as shapes, as designs, something hurtful. Now picture the way their words feel to you. Are they sharp, red shards of glass? And now imagine a wall of glass between you and them. The glass glows a beautiful green hue. The shards are bouncing off the glass. As they bounce harmlessly off the glass, say these words silently. I understand your words, but they have nothing to do with me. I understand your words, but they have nothing to do with me. I understand your words, but they have nothing to do with me. So your negative energy cannot penetrate my boundaries. No words enter my sacred space. And everybody has to create a sacred space. No harm or hurt. All I have in the sacred space is to empower. The only energies I bring to my sacred space is empowerment.
Wow.
Okay? Now imagine heart beams of light, filling the other person with light. Imagine the person's energy changing, softening, and turning into pastel shapes. They are transformed into words of love. The glass comes down and you take their hand. That's in the course.
Love it.
Isn't that
I
great?
love
That was totally
this.
channeled. I don't remember even saying that or doing that from that class. Tools for the highly sensitive person.
Oh
There's different
my
techniques
gosh.
in there to use. You can use them all the time, But I think we have to have some kind of equipment, a toolbox to use.
Yes, we do.
To deal with people.
We do, because what happens is traumas get continued and then continued and continued until you get some tools and know how to use them.
And those patterns
Actually,
repeat. That's all you become aware of. Those patterns.
exactly.
That's what you like. The life you live with that goes in circles over and over and over again. And you got
Absolutely.
to break the circle. You got to break the pattern.
Yes, yes. And that's why I always say, if you're with somebody like this, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break for a period of time and take this class with James. It's a great class, James.
It's a great
Tools
class.
for the highly sensitive person. Oh my God. People
Why
are.
created it?
Elizabeth Ann says, that was amazing. I'm in tears. Thank you. How can we access these tools? You can go to James Van Praagh School of Mystical Arts, and they're called the Tools for the Highly Sensitive Person.
It's very, very good. Excellent. You can share them with other people that you know. If you want to share them with other people, you can. If people are suffering that you know, then you can share these techniques. I'm open to that because we have to help each other out. So.
Oh my gosh. Sue Wells says, narcissistic people don't like me because I speak my mind as a Sagittarius.
I love Sag, my favorite sign of the zodiac. Sag moon, me too.
That just cracks me up. It's so true.
I do. I speak the truth.
It's so much fun to see somebody blast.
I see something's going on. I'm on, and I'm like, it's so funny. Kelly's been with me. I've done things like this. So the person around, are you done yet? Because I'm really bored.
Oh, I've seen you. I've seen you call people out. I'm a Virgo, so I'm not like that. But James goes right up.
Moon said you have Moon in Cancer, of course. So you're very nurturing. I'm like, tell it, get out.
Brenda Bearden says, what about those of us empaths working in the healthcare professions? How can we achieve healthy boundaries and balance while still providing care to patients who are energy vampires? Oh, great question.
Well, Brenda, again, I think you should approach it by looking at yourself. Number one, you're a healthcare professional. You're a healer, okay? You're a healer, and you have this beautiful green light. Many healers have beautiful green, emerald green lights. And imagine as you go into whether it's a hospital or a hospice or a medical office, you this beam of light as you walk in there. And, people that are sick, right away, I think it's a very difficult job in your field because they're wanting from you, right? I actually went up to this girl who was behind a desk at an imaging center. I said, "Wow, this must be hard work for you." She goes, "No, I chose it. I like to help people that way. That's fine." And she helped people. I asked her. She said, "I help them to find themselves. I bring it back to them." And she said, and I think you're gonna the thing I was just talking about, that what I just mentioned, what I just described, sending love to that person, sending healing to that person. That's what I think you can do. That send love to them. Love is stronger than fear. So send love instead of darkness. So that they're saying.
Yeah.
Transmute it, right? Transmute it. Best.
Yeah. It sounds. Ryan says it sounds like emotional vampires get stuck in a karmic loop. Maybe
Yeah.
guidance to help them heal their karma, like family constellation therapy. Well, Rain, I am a huge family constellation therapy supporter, and Carrie Gonia I think, is the best. And
Oh,
in
she's
fact,
great.
she's great. And we are doing a workshop on May 22nd, a webinar with Carrie and Dr. Shirley, and it's called Roots of Healing. And Carrie's going to be doing a family constellation. She's going to be doing a family constellation for all of us to have the experience. So that's on May 22nd, and it's an all-day event. And if you can join us, it would be great, because we're going to be talking about healing from 3 different points of view.
And it's very interesting, Kelly, because we've done so many years now. But when you sit and you do a seminar, whether it's a Zoom seminar or in person, and I know for me, for many, many years of doing this work, when you set up an outline of what you're going to cover that day, what the course is about for that day, Spirit has a whole different agenda sometimes. And the people that go to this workshop, they will help them in that workshop, and other things will come up during the time. And that's the most amazing part about these workshops. Other things do come up.
Absolutely. And we're going to be in smaller groups. So when things come up, it'll be Shirley will be there, I'll be there, and Carrie will be there to really work with people on the issues of, a lot of the traumas that are out there. So it's going to be a terrific one. And with family constellation, I'm a huge proponent of that. And Carrie's going to be on my show again Thursday. So for family constellation people.
And can I ask you, what is the name of that show on Thursday?
It's called Ask Me Anything.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Oh, sure.
Kim Taylor says boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. True. I mean, that's what we have to do.
And we have to be sensitives and empaths. We're made differently than most. And we've got to be in that space of energetically being aware of the energy fields we're in, around us, where we go to. I'm always aware of the stores I go into. I'm aware I'm in traffic or the cars around me. I'm always very aware. And it's not really a job. It's just being keenly aware, being mindful is really what it's about. And it goes to your everyday life. When I'm walking my doggy, I'm very aware of the garden, of the trees, of people in the street. I'm very aware of these things. It helps with your work, general overall work, and your life.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So Kimberly says, Froberg says, how do I have love and light for someone who cannot feel? Well, you can always send them love, and you can send them light, and you're really sending it to their soul. Again, if I use what Mavis talks about, which I really believe, the soul doesn't connect into the body. So you can send love and light to the soul. And you can protect to the higher self, and you can protect yourself by really limiting your time with people like that.
Exactly. Very true.
Oh my gosh. Kelly, hi Kelly, says, can people attack you from far off distances and not just in proximity?
Yes, of course. Thoughts of things. Of course they can. But that's why, again, you have to, the space that you're in, the mind that you set, your mindset has to be very much aware of what's going on. That's also the same with healing. You can send distant healing to people as well. Those apps away.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I think if you're in a mindset, in a loving space, I do think that people have the misconception that people from far away can send negative energy and attack you. Yes, but if you're aware of your space and you have love of self and you really are working with that, it's a harder time for them to get through that, you see. It's like when we have a room and it's filled with this light and it's so bright. Sometimes we have to close our eyes, it's so bright. The wattage is so bright. Right. Same thing with love. When you use love and the strongest vibration, the lower density energies can't take that and they scatter. It's very true.
Yeah, that's so
low energy.
So true. Jean Schwartz says, I'm constantly upset over my mom's selfish behavior. I tell her, but she never admits to anything.
That's your mom's stuff. Kelly taught me something years ago. She's not aware of it. She's limited. She's not aware. It's not your problem. It's hers. It's just,
again, boundaries with somebody like that. I don't care if it's the mother. Oh, doesn't matter to me. Sam Beadle says, does cutting cords have help with breaking the trauma bond with narcissists? Well, I'll tell you, Prajna Avalon, how she's a healer, and how she's answered this question, because I've talked to her about that, is that you really have to do the work on yourself to start healing. It's not like you can just cut it off and it doesn't
Correct.
exist that way. You have to really do the work on learning to love yourself and letting go. And it's really that piece of letting go of that person.
And it's the intention behind it. So if you're going to cut
Exactly.
cords, what's the intention of that? What your loving person is someone pulling energy from you, then sip it up, let it back, and God bless them and let them go. Cutting cords to me is not just cutting a cord. It's assessing your own energy. It's sending back their own energy to them. I'm with people all the time, and every night before I go to sleep, well, as I went to sleep, I envision my whole day that I've had. And from the very beginning when I wake up it's at night. And I picture when I was speaking with people on this, whether it's a phone, in person, on Zoom, and I send back their energy, because you're sharing your energy, and I'll send back their energy to them, and I'll get my energy back from them. And I open myself up to the top of my head, and I feel like it's starlight slowly coming back, and I'll just bring back my energy where I left it all day, and it comes back, and then I fall asleep. It's great exercise.
That is a good exercise. Oh my gosh.
Michael Tamura, a wonderful healer, taught me that. Michael Tamura, a great healer, he taught me that exercise. It really works.
Wow. Joanna Clark says, I would like to send healing to those that have abused me and hurt me.
Good. I think you should. And I think you should write their names down and write something beautiful about each one, because that is also another step of the intention behind the thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, James. Yeah. That's really interesting. So let's see, Ashley. Okay. Yeah. How can I help a child who actively doesn't want to heal from her mother leaving her and punishes in no matter how much therapy and help we try to get her? I need spiritual help. So how old is the child, I think would be the question. How can I help a child who actively doesn't want to heal from her mother leaving her? Well, there's a lot of trauma there. I mean, first of all,
it's more than just her mother leaving her. She should go back further. Something else is going on.
Yeah. I mean, I would look into somatic healing, somatic therapy, which is traumahealing.org, because that child literally has that energy in her body still. I mean, to be abandoned or to not want to be wanted by a mother that's an ongoing situation. You have to really respect that child. That's a lot. That's a hard one. But it can get through. You can get some healing with this one, of course. It's a big one.
True.
Okay. Well, thank you for that one. Those are all big, people do have some really intense situations, James?
They do. And this is a place to do it, this physical earth. This is the school. This is not an easy school for a lot of people.
Right.
We take on a lot of different classes and a lot of difficult classes. It's
a lot of difficult classes.
Yourself and how do you play the game?
Right. So Amy Miller says, if you wait for an apology, people, you will be waiting a lifetime. That is the truth. Move forward and forgive.
You can be a victim or you can be victorious.
Right.
A victim or victorious.
Or victorious. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to choose victorious.
I am too.
Yeah. It's just, you just can't wait. I mean, every once in a while, somebody will apologize. I actually had my first ex-husband apologize to me several years ago. And it was, I only waited for 30 something years. So, but it was extremely healing. Extremely healing.
Kellee, that goes with something you and I spoke about many years ago. And it was one of the lessons I had to learn, which was a behavior. Let's say I do something for someone or several people, and rightly I expect them to repay me, to treat me the same way. And I'm like, that's not right. It's unrealistic expectations, because they're not aware of that. So you just do it because you want to do something. You want to help somebody to help them, not to get anything back from it.
Yes.
So don't have any unrealistic expectations that get you really into trouble.
Oh.
Really starts that spiral.
Oh, boy, is that the truth. Debbie Zoller says, what can you do if you're telepathic and you can feel other emotions and hear them? So, that's the story of all of our lives that are psychics and mediums. I mean, you have to really, start to guard yourself, pay attention to who you are and what the messages that you're getting from somebody else. James, how do you want to jump in?
If you're hearing these things, or either from the living or the spirit, what is the nature of these things? Are they loving? Are they fearful? Where are they coming from? That I'd have to find out more information about that. But it should be of love. It shouldn't be, and it should not push you down. It should support you, not destroy you. Somebody just dropped into my office and wants a photo bomb.
Oh, let's see a photo bomb. Is that Peter?
It's Peter.
Hi, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Kelly,
How you
I'm-
doing there?
I'm doing really well. I've been watching the program and this whole issue of vampires.
Yes.
And vampires is fascinating.
What's this?
Yes.
But the thing is this: we all have the tools to protect ourselves from that kind of energy. You know, as strong as their ability is to suck energy out of a room, they also emit a very high energy. And that's where our intuition, our gut feeling will always, it's like a built-in radar. And I mean, I know when I'm getting close to somebody who's very negative and is going to suck the energy out of me. And so I avoid them. And a big part of all of this is avoidance.
Yes.
And we have the internal radar to do it. We have to get in tune with,
Right.
once again, what I call nature's tuning fork. Get into the toolbox and find the tools to protect you. And the other thing I do as a habit every morning when I wake up, I thank God, first of all, I woke up, and B, ask for white light protection around me for the day.
Yes, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I do
That's
that
a
as
great
well.
I didn't mean to photobomb you.
No, I'm
It's
so glad you did.
I do that every morning with a shower, and I imagine that golden light coming down around me, and any energies are on me or within me down the drain. And then I will set an intention. May God go before me and show me the way. And the word God and the word love are the same vibrational frequency. So you're setting up your intention of the day. May God go before me, may love go before me and show me the way. Another thing, which is a good way for having these people avoid you because they won't come near that energy.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Wow. But it's using that tuning fork, Peter. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So when
Trust
somebody
me.
comes into your presence, you can actually start to feel it
Yeah. And learn to trust it.
and to
That-
trust it.
That
Yes.
is our ship's rudder. It will never steer you in the wrong direction, but you have to trust it.
Very
Yes,
true.
that's true. And that's for all of you empaths out there.
Very true.
You
Yeah,
know? Oh,
it's we've got all the tools we need to navigate through this life successfully.
yeah.
And we're all meant to move. We're all meant to succeed in this lifetime.
Yes.
Because the spirit world conspires for our highest good.
Yeah.
We're not meant to fail here.
They
They're
don't
here to
send
help
here
us.
to fail.
They don't send us here to fail. We come here to learn. It's all about learning.
Right.
You know, so it's,
Right. Oh my God, that's so true. Well, everybody,
think
what
we
a
got-
great show.
let's go pick some daffodils in the park,
Gonna
Kelly.
go pick some daffodils?
In the
Oh yeah,
park.
right now in the park. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. That was a
Thank you,
great.
everybody. Thank you,
Join us
Peter.
next Monday. We have a really special guest next
Oh,
Monday
we have a
too.
real special guest next
Very
week. and
special. You
will
won't
not
believe
want
it.
to miss
Yes.
this person. So, should we mention who it is?
Yeah.
Well, the theme of the show is on courage.
Yeah.
The whole show is to do with courage, whether it's courage to how to live a life, courage to say no, courage to change jobs, to change a relationship, all about courage. And there's a very famous movie, and it had a character in it who was looking for courage and had to go to a far off place.
That's a great clue.
That's a great clue.
Usually plays on television around Easter.
Easter time, Christmas time. So.
Oh gosh.
So it's well, if you haven't guessed by now, the Cowardly Lion looked for courage. Bert Lahr, right, played the Cowardly Lion, the Wizard of Oz, and we are blessed to have his daughter Jane Lahr be our guest next week. Talk about courage and the life with her father, and she's an amazing individual. I've known her for several years. We met. It was very kismet how we met. It was very bizarre how we met. We'll talk all about that. But also, she's just a lovely, lovely soul. I think we get a lot out of her. And Talks about
Great light.
reincarnation,
You guys
great
are gonna love her.
person that we want to have, and she's
Yeah.
blessed to have her. That's next week. So thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Renee,
you.
and
Thanks,
thank you,
Renee.
Kelly.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Peter.
everyone.
I'm glad you photobombed us. Bye, James. I love you.
I love
See
you.
guys.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kelly Show.